Good morning, you join me with the Suzuki Ignis, which is the all-new compact SUV from a Japanese brand, and I have to say, it looks absolutely fantastic. Just look how fun it looks. It just looks so much fun. However, is it as fun to drive as it looks? Let's find out, shall we?
Its controls are quite nice, they're quite chunky. Its buttons are quite nice, it's got a nice layout to it. It's got a Pioneer system, it's quite funky. These buttons are a tad smaller, I won't lie. What I will say is that the system isn't quite as intuitive as the systems used in the Baleno, Vitara and S-Cross. Right, my route. Right. So under the bonnet there's a 1.2 litre petrol engine, but because this is the top of the range SZ5 model, it's mated to a hybrid system which is called SHVS, which is a smart hybrid vehicle by Suzuki. I had to think about that one then. So you can also get the other trims with just a 1.2 petrol, but like I mentioned, this does have a hybrid system as well. So there's a few batteries in there somewhere in the car. I think underneath the seats actually. So the performance isn't blinding. 0 to 62 miles comes in about 11 seconds, and the top speed is just over 100 miles per hour. So it's not going to bend your face in regards to acceleration. But let's see if this is nippy, because the Baleno I tested last year was quite nippy, and so was the Vitara S, if truth be told. So let's see what this is like to drive. Let's see if it's quite fun and quite eager. The engine's mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox, which isn't too bad to use. The throws are okay, it's slick enough, but it's not the best gearbox I've ever used, but not too bad nonetheless. So there are 3 trim levels in the new Ignis. You've got the base model SZ3, which starts at just under £10,000. You've got the mid-range model SZT, which starts at just under £11,500, or you've got the top of the range SZ5 model, which starts at just under £13,000. The base model offers front electric windows, DAB digital radio, Bluetooth, air conditioning and rear tinted windows, whereas the mid-range model will add roof rails, 16-inch alloy wheels, satellite navigation and a rear view camera. Lastly, the top of the range will give you LED headlights and daytime running lights, front fog lamps, rear electric windows, leather steering wheel, keyless entry and start, auto air conditioning, cruise control and dual camera brake support. Now this is a car that I've really been interested in testing, just because it looks so funky, it just looks so cool. It just looks so with it. I don't know if that's the best way of putting it, but it just looks really funky and bold and fresh, and I really love this colour as well. It's called Boost Blue. I think it may be one of the new colours that Suzuki has brought in, and it just looks fantastic. It's quite nice and sparkly, and it looks really great. The interior's not too bad, the buttons are laid out quite well, although this Pioneer infotainment system isn't the most intuitive to use. Now, as this is the top of the range model, it's also got 4-wheel drive as well, so it's got Suzuki's All Grip. So it's quite handy when it's a bit wet and a bit icy like it is today. Right, let's throw it in a few bends and see what's what. Let's see if this is any fun to drive, shall we? Too bad in the bends actually. There's a little bit of body roll, but you'd expect that, but it's got quite a bit of grip actually. I'm actually quite surprised, especially as the roads are a little bit icy today, they are a little bit greasy, but you can kind of just throw this in and survive, which is pretty good. Now I will say it's not the most engaging to drive. I've got a hill coming up, I'm going to have to change down. Is full okay? Yeah, full's fine. So it's not the most engaging car to drive, but it's not too bad either. Not too bad. Now, this car is quite an unusual one because it doesn't really have any direct competitors. This is a compact SUV, but because it's so compact, it's almost like a hatchback. So in that regard, the only real competitor I can really think of is the Fiat Panda 4x4.
Interestingly, however, Suzuki has actually aimed for Ignis
to compete against cars such as the Fiat 500, the Vauxhall Adam, the Renault Twingo, the Smart Car and the Toyota Aygo. Now the seating position is quite good. In fact, actually, when I stepped into the car, all I really had to do was to move the seat forward. So I don't know who sat in it before me, because I'm not exactly sure, but never mind. Does the steering wheel adjust for rake and reach? Ah, that's interesting. So the steering wheel only adjusts for rake, which isn't too much of an issue in this car, but I do like cars which offer both, because it makes getting a driving position even easier. But yes, even though this is top of the range, steering wheel only adjusts up and down rather than back and forward as well, which if I'm honest is a tad disappointing, but I suppose you can't have it all, especially when the car's this cheap. It's quite comfortable to drive as well. The roads around here are pretty shocking, if I'm honest. They're quite rough, quite a few potholes, but that's quite comfortable. Not too bad. It is a little bit jiggly in places, but like I mentioned, the roads around here aren't ideal. I'm not too sure what it'd be like on a long distance journey, however, but out and about on here, not too bad at all. Pretty comfy. The rear seats of the Ignis slide backwards and forwards, meaning that you should be able to find a decent level of legroom, although taller passengers may find headroom to be a little bit of a squeeze. Due to the car's compact dimensions, it does mean that the Ignis isn't able to offer the largest boot going. You'll get 204 litres in the four-wheel drive version, but you do get an improved 260 litres in the two-wheel drive version. But if you want more luggage capacity, you can fold down the rear seats and that will give you over 1,000 litres, but you won't get a flat load floor. So is the Ignis a fun car to drive? That was the question I asked at the start of the video, and in truth it's not bad, but it's not quite the car that I think it should be, especially when you look at the exterior. As I mentioned a few times, it just looks so funky and so fun. It just looks eager and ready to get up and go, and the driving doesn't quite match that, I'm afraid. It's not a bad car to drive, not by any means, and you get quite a lot for your money, but it just hasn't quite got that fun factor to it. And it's kind of difficult to put your finger on it. You know, you can't really quantify fun or measure it, but the Ignis just hasn't really got it for me, unfortunately. Now, I think I might have been a little bit too hasty in my conclusion. Reason being, after I drove that model, I drove this, which is the SZT model. There we are. But I didn't film it because my GoPro was running a little bit low. So this is the mid-range model, but this particular model didn't have four-wheel drive. It has two-wheel drive only, power being fed to the front wheels. And I have to say, it definitely made a difference. The car feels lighter, it's more nimble, it's more eager, it's got more get up and go, and it's more fun to drive. So with that in mind, if I were to recommend a Suzuki Ignis, I'd drop four-wheel drive and I'd get the two-wheel drive. That may seem a little bit odd and a little bit weird, because I know four-wheel drive gives you more security, but two-wheel drive gives you more fun, and in a car like this, surely that's what you want. And there we have it, guys. That is the new Suzuki Ignis. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done it already, please subscribe. But until the next time, guys, I'll see you soon.